Hi, this is Victoria Knits. I'm Victoria. Yes, I did cut my hair. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing to do. I decided I needed a change. So I thought I'd let you know at the beginning of this podcast so you wouldn't be shocked when you saw this. My husband cut off 12 inches and I'm donating it to Locks of Love. I'm like the third person in my family to have donated their hair, so not a huge deal, but anyway, that's what happened earlier this week. So what have I done with my knitting this week? Well, I did finish those Portho socks that I was making for Kamal. They turned out great. It's a great pattern. I think it's very pretty. It works for a lot of different yarns, I think. I'll show you both of them so you don't think I was holding up one at a time. It's just the same one or something. Anyway, that's the extent of my Christmas knitting this week. When I got back from my trip to visit my grandchildren, I don't know what happened, but I started knitting more things for myself. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it just kind of surprised me that I didn't get on to my Christmas knitting again. Truthfully, I did, when I was in Seattle, I did do some cutouts of my son and my daughter-in-law and Hayden's feet, so I can do the sock pattern I like, which is the fish kiss lips heel for their socks. Disappointed because Hayden's foot is a lot larger than the socks I've already knit for her, so I will be starting another pair for her for Christmas, but they're little, so it's not that huge a deal. So when I got back from my trip, I decided, after a lot of thinking, that I would pick up an old WIP, a work in progress I had, and it is called the Probably everybody recognizes this cardigan. I think it's pronounced stofide. The yarn I'm using is by Lolo Did It. It's called Bees Have Tongues, and I won this yarn in a contest Lolo Did It put on last year in March, I believe it was. These are some of the pictures I took in the garden my husband and I had in Boise, and I used one of these pictures in the contest. Actually, I think I entered 6 pictures in her contest, and she picked one of these. This is dragonflies that were in our garden. And this is the winning photo, or one of the winning photos. 4 people won the contest. This is my Bees Have Tongues photo. So that's a project that I picked up and have been working on. I'm really liking it. I've got the sleeves going, or finished. The sleeves are finished, and I'm starting down on the body of the sweater. I think I left it alone because I started it in July last year, and that's right when we moved up here to Montana. So it got kind of put to the side. It has a lot of lace work. I don't know. I think I was being kind of wimpy about it. But I did find some nice videos on it by the SSK Yarners. They have some knit-alongs with the stofide cardigan, and I have been watching those, and they're very helpful. I did put in some markers between the lace patterns. Gosh, that helped so much. I don't know what I was thinking when I tried to follow that lace pattern without the markers in it. It just seemed really hard. So that's working out, and I appreciate those women for having their little knit along for the Stofude cardigan. It's really helping. I'm really looking forward to getting it finished because it is pretty much spring here in Montana, northwest Montana where I am. I do have a sweatshirt on today because it's another chilly day and it looks like it's going to rain some more. But starting tomorrow, we're supposed to get some nice spring weather, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I must be getting the shawl bug because another thing I started for myself since I've been home is this thrift shawl by Helen Stewart. I have not gotten very far with it. That's the wrong side, but it doesn't really matter. It's coming along. I like the pattern. It's a paid pattern on Ravelry. Yeah, I must have picked up the bug. Everybody's knitting shawls. The first shawl I knit was the campsite shawl. I knit that for my mother-in-law a couple of years ago. And then, you know, earlier this year, I knit the Raina shawl for myself, which I really liked. So I was looking around for another shawl pattern and decided to do this one. I had some stash yarn from Caterpillar Green Yarns, who are now called Gauge Dye Works. I don't know where I got this. I don't remember buying it. It is called shawl striping yarn. I can't believe I would have purchased this. I'm suspecting I won this in a contest, or a giveaway, not a contest. But anyway, it's labeled Studio Seconds. But I have wound this. There's no knots in it. It does stripe. It's going to be, I think it's going to be really pretty, and I'm really looking forward to finishing it. The other thing I've done this week was something fun, and I was inspired by Cappy at the Yarn and I, and also by Rebecca at ChemKnits. I have dyed sock yarn before. I have dyed self-striping sock yarn. It's been a long time. It's been about 7 years. It was 2010 when I tried dyeing when I did dye some self-striping sock yarn. I didn't try, I actually did it. It was a challenge. It wasn't easy, but it was kind of fun. And this time I had fun doing it also. So this is the yarn and a sock from the self-striping yarn I dyed in 2010. This time I decided to use some minis I bought from the Yarn and I. Cappy at the Yarn and I has an Etsy shop. I divided one of her minis into about 5 grams of yarn, soaked it, and then tested the colors I wanted to use. I used pink, golden yellow, delphinium, and violet. Mixed up the colors in mason jars, simmered them on the stove until the water finally started running clear. I did some experimenting for some speckles. And then I laid that on to my little grater to heat that up again. And here's the resulting colors. The violet is on the left, the speckles on the next one, and then you can see the delphinium, and the pink is on the right. So the dyeing was fun. It wasn't very expensive. It wasn't too time consuming, and it wasn't too scary because I wasn't using a full skein of yarn. I was just using a 20-gram mini. And I ended up with 4 little miniature balls of yarn. They're pretty colors. This is 3. I used number 4 as the cuff on my Hermione socks, which I started since I got back. I think they're really pretty. The main color yarn is Blueberry a la Mode. It's a yarn I won from the Yarn and I. Cappy at the Yarn and I had a giveaway. It's really pretty. These 2 are actually minis I got from the Yarn Barfs. And so And then this is the violet that I dyed. It seemed like a nice way to try my hand at dyeing again. It wasn't too involved. It wasn't, like I say, it wasn't too expensive. So, you know, it wasn't a huge commitment, and I could mess around a little bit and not feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to end up with something I hate and it's going to be terrible. So I have 3 more minis from that I bought from Cappy. I have also 3 bare skeins of full sock size, 100-gram yarn that is undyed. And so I, will eventually have plans to do something with that. So it's been kind of fun. And Cappy at the Yarn and I really inspired me to try something. The ChemKnits tutorials are great. So I appreciate both those women very much. I did knit something for someone else since I've been back. I knit another one of the September Stars hats. There's a woman in an auxiliary group I belong to who has cancer, and they were collecting some gifts for her. This is like I think I spent 5 or 6 hours on it. It's a pretty easy knit, and it's kind of a fun knit. You can find my notes on it on Ravelry. Speaking of, I am Victoria Jean W on Instagram if you're looking for me, and on Ravelry I am Victoria Jean. So there's so many podcasts going on right now, knitting podcasts I mean, and there's so many good ones. I've been really enjoying, there's a lot of sisters that podcast together, mothers and daughters. My daughter does not knit, neither does my son, but my daughter does like to paint and draw, so I really appreciate her artwork. But 2 mother-daughter knitting podcasts I've been enjoying quite a bit. I like to watch Robin and Mary at Cherry Pearls podcast. It's fun to watch the mother and daughter interactions. Robin dyes her own yarn. She does a beautiful job. Very pretty stuff. Another one I like to watch is Knit for Brains, and that is Laura and Alicia. They're very enthusiastic knitters, and it's fun to watch them discuss things also. You may be hearing some new cat crying at our house. I'm not sure. Yesterday my husband and I went and picked up my daughter's 2 cats from northern Idaho from her husband. He brought them that far, so we had an 8-hour round trip to pick up her 2 cats. They will be staying with us temporarily. Freddie and Josie. So they right now they are together in one of our spare bedrooms, hopefully where they can adjust to our 3 cats, and we can minimize the arguing when they get to join my 3. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, gosh, thanks for watching again. I really appreciate my viewers so much. It's really fun having someone to talk to. I'm going to end this podcast with a video of my husband cutting my hair. A little entertainment, extra entertainment value for you, possibly, possibly not. Anyway, thanks for watching, and goodbye from Montana as usual. Bye. Video? Yeah. Okay. It'll be okay. It's just hair. It's not an arm.
Mine's just hair too, but...
Oh my God, that feels weird.